Okay, let's talk about Joe Biden's inauguration. But first up, there was a last hurrah with Trump as he left office. Apparently, he choreographed his own exit from office, didn't he? Went off on a helicopter into the sunset and then arrived at some naval base. Melania, at their little mini rally, she finally spoke her 100th word during her husband's time in office. It took a while to get there. She was building up to it. Yeah, she smashed through the 100-word barrier. I mean, what has she done for the last few years? She didn't even nail the Christmas decorations. I just think she spent the last, 4 years in some sort of weird Valium haze. And weirdly, every time she spoke in her public, it's like her accent is going further back to Slovenia. It's like her mind, because if you look at videos of her, like a few years ago, she's kind of become like a bit American European. Those European tennis players, when they've been on the ATP tour for too long, and they sort of develop this mid-Atlantic accent where they go, I was playing against Steffi the other week, and, Martina's got such a strong serve. And is that really, as well, your best tennis reference, Jeff? I just defaulted to the late 80s, like everything. It was the best time. It's a happy time. Wimbledon won the FA Cup. But her accent is going like super. She's gone past Slovenia. I don't know what's fucking east of Slovenia, but she's heading there. She's becoming Siberian. Notice how a lot of people just say both his names. Joe Biden. He's definitely going to be a two-name guy. Trump was Trump. Joe Biden is going to be Joe Biden. You see what Joe Biden did? You seen Grandpa Simpson is now the ruler of the free world? I mean, look, can we just get one thing away? He's fucking old. Can we just say that? We had 4 years of talking about how Donald Trump had shit hair and was orange. So to correct the comedic cosmos, I'm going to mention how old he is frequently because I can't get over it. And I know it's ageist. I don't give a shit. Just think for a second about the men in your family at around the age of 78. Just think about them. Just think about how unlikely you would be to trust them with a shopping list or anything of any importance. Bill Clinton fell asleep, blatantly fell asleep. He's one of those guys, Bill Clinton, where he was better with weight, wasn't he? There is something about him now. He just lost weight. For the last 6 years, he's looked like one of those relatives where you go, we should go and visit Bill. Have you seen his latest photos on Facebook? Is he all right? Is Bill all right? And the family are just asking little coded questions. Is he a bit poorly? That's always funny, isn't it? When relatives are poorly. What they mean is dying. That's how much of an immature relationship the British have with death, is that we're poorly. That's what, with the poorly, basically, in British, means the final stages of cancer.
What most people think.
Biden, I thought his speech was actually pretty good, and I must admit I find it very affecting, the narrative of the loss that he's experienced in his life. And he talked about coming back from something like that, and feeling like you're on the floor. And then there was just a point where the speech went on, and I just thought, oh my god, like he started to slur a few words. I was like, oh man. And then I started to feel really worried. I was like, someone get Grandad off stage. Do you know what I mean? He was about to go full Abe Simpson when he I remember when I was a boy. But the speech was overall, it was good. I think that there were, I of all people believe that, yeah, you're absolutely right, Joe. We should honour democratic outcomes.
What most people think.
Is it morally okay yet to admit your top 10 Trump favourite LOL moments? Because there were loads. I mean, he's funny. He's a fucking funny guy. Not a nice person, but a funny person. But I was just very cautious on Twitter about listing my top 10. My personal favourite, while we're discussing it, is when he barged past that Ukrainian leader? It was just pure like alpha mammal instinct. He was just a silverback. The guy was there and he just budged out of the way and then just done up his tie. Absolute prick, but sort of hilarious. But the question now is that, they can't fawn over Biden for too long. It's understandable to have a honeymoon period, 3 months, maybe. But, it's an important matter of faith that Biden isn't just given this easy ride as this cozy kind of Uncle Joe. I heard that on the radio. People go, oh, he's just like your favourite uncle. Yeah, well, my favourite uncle had a slightly more constructive relationship with hair. He never sniffed it.
What most people think.
And I'm not saying that Joe Biden's tendency to sniff people's hair is as big as some of the stuff that Trump did. But it's a concern. So it's something that's got to be managed during his time in office. Most powerful man in the world, occasionally sniffing the hair of people is not going to be constructive for the unity that Biden rightly says that we need going forward.
What most people think.
Now, quite a few people asked me to talk about Dancing on Ice. So if you didn't catch up with this, it was the first episode of the new series, I think. And Rufus Hound, a comedian, went on and he got the golden ticket. And when Phil Schofield was interviewing him afterwards, he spoke about it being crazy, and then Rufus used that to make a political point where he said the crazy thing is we have a government that don't want to feed starving kids, right? Now, far be it from me to give comedians stick for sort of shoehorning in a political point. I've done a fair bit of that myself, but it did seem to spawn a debate of whether serious issues are kind of overly featured now in light entertainment. The question is whether or not you're tuning into Dancing on Ice to hear that sort of thing, and it has, people quoted the fact that there was Black Lives Matter was referenced on Britain's Got Talent. I'd argue that Britain's Got Talent has got maybe slightly more of a history of delving into social areas. Like every time they have an urban street dance troupe, Simon Cowell always wants to make a point about this is what's best about Britain. You guys are from a poor area, but you're not stabbing anybody tonight.
What most people think.
But maybe the key is that we just need political balance in light entertainment. If the producers of Dancing on Ice want to give me a call to provide some balance on the things that government actually have done for people on lower incomes, I'd still rather shoot myself in the face.
What most people think.
But it's balanced. Maybe we just throw it back the other way. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if I ever get invited back on Question Time, maybe I bring the light entertainment into politics. That's the answer, isn't it? Jeff Norcott, what do you think about the new Brexit red tape that companies are having to deal with? I'll tell you what I think in the form of a hand jive.